Manchester United 2, PAOK 0, Chelsea 8, Noah's Ark 0. And I was thinking about this during the game. After a terrible, after a torrid, after a abysmal week in Europe for England, the 5-time European champions combined in Man United and Chelsea had to step up, didn't they? We had to step up, let everyone know it was done, get a little pride back for the nation, and we certainly did that tonight. We want to get your views, we want to get your opinions. So, of course, get your comments in, get your super chats in as well. We always prioritize them and our member chats as well, because without you, the Football Terrace would never have got to where it's at right now. That's why I am eternally grateful to each and every single one of you. Make sure like buttons have been smashed as well. And there's the first comment to come through here. It says, we were awful, Terry. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care tonight. Tonight was must win, and we won. Tonight was must win, and we won. I'm not that concerned. Ahmad was brilliant. Onana was great. I'm happy. I'm happy that we won the game. And do you know what's really funny? I've actually followed some people on Twitter that moaned about that were slagging off Amorim the other day for not like dominating the game and having most possession. They said wins are all that matter. I see him moaning now about performances. Honestly, some people just like to moan. For me, I am personally not bothered. I'm happy with the win. Ruud is doing exactly what he was brought into the club to do, or kept at the club to do, is just keep the plates spinning until Ruben Amorim arrives, and that is what he is doing. Look, when it comes to Chelsea, look, I mean, personally, I don't think a team of Chelsea's level should even be in the Conference League. And that's not a dig at Chelsea. Chelsea are there because the Premier League is so stacked and so strong. And Man United winning the FA Cup the way we did. But even if Man United had qualified for it, I think we'd be doing similar things to what you've seen tonight. These teams are nowhere near the level of a Chelsea. But where I give Chelsea a lot of credit is that Chelsea went and got the job done. Chelsea put the ball into the back of the net. Chelsea went out there and they didn't just assert their dominance and their quality. They absolutely sent it home. And look, some people will slag Chelsea off tonight and say they're doing it against minnows, they're doing it against rubbish teams, they're doing it against nobodies. I just don't think about it in that way only. This is great for those fringe players to build up that confidence, to start knocking on the door of the first team, or the A team as it's kind of being referred to at this particular moment. It was very, very good. Look, I've seen Spurs in the Conference League genuinely struggle and go out in the group stages, as it were. So I'm not going to totally write off what Chelsea are doing and just say that it's easy, they should be doing this, blah, blah. I just find that to be a little bit too basic, a little bit too simple, a little bit too easy. I would refer to that as dead banter. I think it's just dead banter, if I'm being absolutely honest. No one's looking at the 8-0 going, oh my God, they're one of the best teams in Europe. But you've got to give credit where credit is due. Chelsea were excellent tonight. They really were. They were cutthroat. They were lethal. They listen, they conceded quite a few chances. And I've got to give it to Noah. Noah came out and just attacked. They just came out and attacked. But Chelsea rubbed their hands together and said, thank you. I think Chelsea may have struggled more tonight if Noah sat 10 men behind the ball, made it really hard to break them down, and didn't try to attack. They played right into Chelsea's hands. It made it an entertaining game. And I think a lot of Chelsea fans will be happy to see Felix, to see Nkunku, to see, Mudryk's goal was very, very good indeed. To see these individuals get on the score sheet, put in a solid performance, and essentially be knocking on that door ready to get into the first team. And listen, they sunk Noah's Ark tonight. Is that blasphemous, KJ, to say that they sunk Noah's Ark? Is that okay? I'm waiting for him vaccines. Yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down. That's blasphemous. I don't know. I don't think it is to say they sunk Noah's Ark tonight. They did. They did very, very well indeed. On Man United, look, I've already seen the comments come in. United weren't that great. United with this, United with that. Look, the first half was awful. Genuinely, the first half was awful. I was so disappointed in our performance. I was so frustrated with how we were performing, how we were playing, what we were doing it was just annoying to watch. We were just flat. And that's the word that springs to my mind, is Man United were flat and we weren't at it. And I didn't really understand why. And I thought maybe partly there was an element to do with, I thought partly there might have been an element to do with maybe a little bit of PTSD. We've had a really bad last 10, 11 games in Europe. The players lacking confidence. And maybe the sound of the international fans in the stadium, which is very different to English away fans. Maybe the music, maybe under the floodlights. It almost felt like a little bit of PTSD, a nervousness sat over Man United. And barring Ahmad looking dangerous, should have had a penalty in the first half, by the way. I don't know what VAR are looking at. In fairness, we should have had 2 penalties in the game tonight. The one for Garnacho, even the commentator said it weren't a penalty, but no, Garnacho kicked his foot. I'm like, yes, because the player put his foot in front of Garnacho to win the ball, missed the ball, and then Garnacho couldn't kick the ball. It's a foul. It's not Garnacho kicking his leg, but because by that logic, every time a player goes for a shot, you can't get to the ball, but just put your foot in front of the player so the player kicks you first and it's a foul. What a load of nonsense. That's a foul. But Ahmad was dangerous, but we looked really, really flat. The second half, though, you can kind of tell that Ruud, stuck a bit of a rocket up their backside. They came out, they moved the ball quicker. There was more movement out of possession. And we came out like a freight train. We had chance. And then a wonderful ball from Bruno Fernandez to the back post. And Ahmad's header was amazing. I remember seeing, it was Michael Carrick passing the ball to Javier Hernandez, Chicharito, away at Chelsea, ironically, because we're talking about them tonight as well, at the back post, and just gets a looping header onto the ball to that back post. Bang, it was 1-0. And then United attacked a little more, and then you saw the nerves kick in. And this is where it's going to take time to fix Man United. You see that kind of PTSD. You see that concern come back in. Became a little bit deep, giving PAOK too much of the ball, and then they had a really good chance to go 1-1. Onana judged it very, very well. By the way, he was brilliant tonight, Onana. I thought he was really good again in goal. And then we made some subs, and then you started to just see a bit more impetus again. And the second goal, listen, I think Ahmad's a very special talent, and I will address this when it comes to Ahmad. When I watched him play when he first came into the team, he was more in the 10 role. I didn't really see much. There wasn't much that impressed me. Good first touch, good technical ability. But I didn't see a player that I thought could start for Man United and make us better. I didn't see it. Since his return from his loan, and there's been some injuries in there as well, he has proven me completely and utterly wrong. I think he's a very special talent, and I'm so excited to see a top-class coach with the right structure behind him at the club get hold of this kid for the next few years and hopefully get every ounce of ability out of him and onto the football pitch. His second goal was a combination of everything Man United fans love. When I was a young man and I started going to Man United games, talking to the old heads, people that have been going there for years, people whose grandparents helped build the original stadium, they said, what we love the most here is hard work. Above and beyond ability, goals, even the sort of the trophies are a byproduct of this. But it was this, you've got to, if you bust the gut for Man United, the fans will love you forever. And that's what I loved about that goal. He pushed and he pressed and he wins the ball back. He shakes his man off. He cuts inside, a brilliant curling shot to the far post. I was so gutted that he got a little injury after that and came off. I was thinking, go on, get an hat-trick in Europe. You deserve it, young man. And look, he hasn't had a lot of starts in the last month. I thought that was ridiculous at the time. He's a special talent. He's proven a lot of people, including myself, wrong. And I'm just glad he is. Listen, I'm always happy to be wrong if Man United benefit. There's no doubt about it. So well done to him. Well done to Ruud as well, by the way. Just one of our first wins in the last 11 games in Europe. We took the lead. We went 2-0 up. We win the game. And what Ruud has done, and I hope he does the same in the Premier League now this weekend when we're playing Leicester, KJ, again. Playing Leicester. I think we're playing Leicester. Go and get one more win, and then you are handing that baton over to Amorim, and he's going to have the best possible foundation from when Ten Hag was sacked to that point. 2 wins in the Prem, still in the Carabao Cup, still well within a chance of making it into the top 8 of the Europa League, and we go. And I can't say more than I can't be happier than that, given the situation. Of course, I could be happier. We could be top of the league and brilliant, but given the situation is what I'm talking about here. Viewers, as ever, I want your thoughts, feelings, opinions, and everything else in the comment section below. Panel coming out very, very soon, but make sure the like button has been hit if you haven't done so already. Plus, check out NordVPN. You should always have a VPN provider when using the internet. You should always have one. If you're using the internet without one, that's like going out on a first date without protection. Do you know what I'm saying? I know some of you simps ain't quite got to that stage yet, but you will one day. You will one day. Do you know what I mean? Great to see the academy players tonight for Chelsea. Listen, I bet it was. Listen, it's always, listen, I can't speak for any other club when it comes to this. One of my favorite things about Man United is seeing the academy players. I think it's a special part of every single football club. And we all feel uniquely proud of it, you know, in relation to our own clubs. And we had Shola come on and he had that foul with Cassidy. I don't know if you guys watched it. If you're Chelsea fans, you didn't. At the end, the players that know him really well were trying to get him over to Cass and make him say sorry. And Cass weren't really having any of it, but that's the nature of football. But yeah, Chelsea had a lot of young talent on that football pitch tonight. They really, really did. And some of them look really, really strong. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Terry, I'm really happy for Mark Guiu. Scored his first goal for Chelsea. Yeah, listen, of course, listen, as a Barca fan, that makes complete and utter sense. And he took that chance very, very well indeed. Billie Eilish is overrated. I don't understand that. Is that meant to be a joke or are you talking about the singer? Let me know. Terry, you're funny. You think United can do what we're doing. Listen, we may not have scored 8 goals tonight, but I think a confident Man United team could also put 4 or 5 goals past Noah FC. I think if Chelsea are winning these games by 2 or 3 goals, I think that's a problem. I think you should be putting 5 or 6 past a lot of the sides you're up against. And I mean this as a compliment to Chelsea, Blades. Don't take it as an insult. You are so superior to them. It is unbelievable. I think you're ranked like 300 positions higher than them in UEFA's rankings. It's yeah. And I would expect every Premier League team to be putting at least 4, like European Premier League team, to put 4 or 5 past them. I really, really would, minimum. But you guys did a great job. I praise you for it. I really, really did. I wanted 10-0. I'm pissed we never got 10. There was a time where I thought you guys were going to beat I think your all-time record in Europe is something along the lines of 13-0. I thought you might have beaten that, but I think you guys can be happy with 8. Can't beat United away from home and can't beat a team 10-0. Disgraceful performance. We didn't even concede our usual goal. I do not recognize my Chelsea. In fairness to Noah's Ark, they gave it a good go, you know. They did get part of me, and it wasn't to say anything derogatory to Chelsea. As a football fan, I wanted them to get their goal. I think they're I know Standard FC hate this, but they are such a small minnow. A consolation goal for them would feel like a victory. They're sort of like a San Marino of European competitions in that way. But there we go. Anyone know why they're called Noah FC? Anyone want to do some? KJ, do me a favor while you're there. Find out why they're called Noah FC before you come out, brother. KJ probably knows the biblical reason as well. Do you know what I'm saying? I wonder if it is religious. I wonder if it's religious based. Genuinely, I don't know. Genuine question. Mudryk's goal was great. Credit to Noah. They really tried. They certainly did. Really. And his goal was great. His celebration was very Thierry Henry-esque. Just stood there, didn't celebrate, looked around the crowd like, yes. Like the gladiator. Are you not entertained? 21 all time. Oh, 21 all time. What do you mean? I don't know what that means. You need to re-explain that, Nav, my old mate. Terry, we should be happy and grateful for wins. Nothing else, just for tonight. Big ups to you and keep the positivity up. That's from a Chelsea fan. Look, it is what it is. Look, I could be a really salty Man United fan and just say, oh, well, you played nobody, you played minnows, you should be doing this, you beat nobodies. I just don't. I'm too old to behave like that online now. I just am. I'm going to say it as I see it. I think 8-0 is a very good result for Chelsea. The same with Man United. Look, there's loads of things that are not right, but who the hell was expecting Ruud to fix it all in a couple of weeks? He's probably not even doing major training drills. It will just be working in a shape and working on a few patterns in attack. Because again, you don't want to overcomplicate things. You can't start drilling new systems just for another guy to come in and do something else new. It's not going to work. So I don't know what Man United fans are expecting. We've got to win these games. That's it. How superior are United to PAOK? I would say, look, PAOK are the champions of Greece. They're the champions of Greece, and they're a Europa League team. Okay, so there's a much higher standard, in my personal opinion, between PAOK and Noah FC. Genuinely, I think that. Plus, Chelsea are in a better situation than Man United right now. Like I said, I didn't say we'd be putting 8 past them, did I? I said 4 or 5. So I think that's fair. Would you not say? I certainly would. The name references the biblical Noah, whose ark came to rest in the mountains of Amrat, traditionally identified as the mountain Amrat in Armenia. Oh, is that where they found the ark? Oh, okay. It came to rest on the mountains. Oh, that's where it rests when it stopped. I've read the book. I remember the story. I remember that story. Okay. I was wondering where it is now. Imagine if you found that. I was watching Indiana Jones the other day, #1, the Lost Ark, where they go after it's not Noah's Ark, they go after the Ark of the Covenant, where they kept the stones with the 10 Commandments on them. Imagine you actually found that now. Imagine what it'd be worth. Anyway, I digress. I knew it had to be biblical. It had to be. Called Noah FC because Noah's Ark is said to have sat on a mountain by their town. Fair enough. I mean, that's a good reason to be called Noah FC, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Noah's Ark, the most famous boat in the world, it sat on top of our mountains. Obviously, there's floods. But yeah, that's an amazing story, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's good for confidence. The boat is sunk. Mr. Anthony, where you been? Long time no see. Hope you're good, my brother. Hope you are good. Let's go to a few more of your comments before I bring the boys out tonight. We actually have 2 teams, but everyone likes to skip past that. I wonder why. I don't know what you mean. I'd love to know what you mean by that. People definitely talk about both your teams. I don't know where you're coming from, my bro. Ruud is doing his best to give Amorim a chance. Listen, Ruud has done a very good job. I've been happy with him. And listen, if Garnacho's finishing was better at the weekend, we'd be 4 wins from 4. Or is it 3? Who was the manager we beat Brentford? That was Ruud, wasn't it? It'd be 3. Sorry, 3. Oh, so it was sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong game. Yeah, so look, it's one of those things for me where it'd be 3 from 3. And he's done what he's meant to do. He's steadying the ship. Do I expect Ruud to make us look like peak Man United? Peak Fergie straight? No. I mean, the fact that he's not even been considered for the managerial job tells you that he ain't ready for that yet. But he's done a very good job. I'm happy. I'm very, very happy indeed. Very, very happy indeed. Good confidence builder for the young lads. Confidence causes progression. Absolutely. Confidence is one of the most important fundamental factors of football. You cannot get away from it. Terry, the Ark of the Covenant is currently in northern Ethiopia. Oh, is it in a church? Oh, okay. I've never researched it. I'm only going by the movie I watched. And I know movies are not real, right? I understand that. I just assumed it was lost. I also watched The Da Vinci Code by Darren Brown. That's an interesting take on the Holy Grail. But I'm not bringing that up because KJ will smite me down. My nan hated that book. God rest her soul. Remember it came out, she saw me reading it. She went, "Why are you reading that?" I was like, "Oh, it was an audio book as well because I'm dyslexic." But she was like, why are you reading it? I had an audio version as well as reading it because it helps me in my dyslexia, right? And she was very angry, my nan. Very angry. I thought she was going to beat me. Terry, is the Top 6 show tomorrow? Yes, 6 p.m. UK time. Make sure you are there. KJ and Strasbourg Steve are joining me on the show now. I'm not sure who else is coming on, but welcome, boys. Welcome. KJ, what's happening with your lights tonight?
I'm doing something on the computer, that's why I say.
Yeah. There we go. Your boy Ahmad got himself a nice brace tonight, KJ. We always loved him, didn't we? We always loved him.
Hey, listen. You cannot claim my son. We're on Jerry Springer, and ding, Terry, you are not the father. You cannot claim anything from my son. Because when he first came to United, I remember you and I always going back and forth. When I used to bring up the AC Milan backwards header in the Europa League, when I used to bring up his assists that he used to get when he used to play on the Ollie, you were like, yeah, but I still don't see nothing. And I said, Terry, you're flipping blind. And I know you're normally good. Credit to you. You're normally good at spotting young players if they're gonna make it. If they're not, like I'll give you that credit. But I don't know why. I don't know what it was. Maybe the fact that he's small. Maybe the fact, I don't know, he came from Atalanta. I don't know what it is. But you were blinded by something. So all I need to say is,
in my defense, that was him playing in the 10. Him on the wing, I find it a different player. I find him a different player out there. Ironically, same as Angel Gomez. When he was playing as like a 10 or an attacking midfielder, didn't like it. Now watching him play holding, very impressive. So maybe it's the position, but yeah, you are right. I've got to hold an L on that one, 100%.
Yeah, but let's talk about him now. Because you know what's a bigger L? Ten Hag. Ten Hag is a bigger L for you. Because for some random reason, you put on the bench your best attacker who was creating chances, causing dribbles, getting shots off and scoring goals. You decided to bench him because, well, I don't know. No explanation. No explanation why he was benched. He just disappeared. He got sent to the shadow realm. Maybe he lost a duel with Ten Hag in Yu-Gi-Oh! And he sent him to the shadow realm. Maybe that's what it was. But he got banished for no reason. And obviously, the whole thing at Fenerbahce happened where you could see he is visibly vexed at the fact that you're bringing on a guy that he knows ain't as good as him just for him to get injured. So now you're like, oh, bro, can you go on now? Like, it was a madness. And I think that's one of the things, again, it cost him his job. I think Ahmad starting for us for how many weeks would have seen him develop quicker, would have seen him involved in more goals and more assists. And we might be, I'm not saying we would be because it was still awful, but we might be looking at the table differently. We might be looking at the Europa League table differently. But I'm just happy for him because he deserves this. You can see that Ruud believes in him. You can tell that Ruud believes in him because the way that he was smiling after he scored those goals is wonderful to see. And he's a player that needs to be starting for Ruben Amorim. You know, he likes to play with these wingers / tens right close to the striker. Ahmad has to be one of those guys. He has to be. Because he's the only attacker right now that I have full confidence in that will produce something. Because from minute one, he was there with the touches, he's there with the passes, beating men, going to the byline, putting crosses in. He put a beautiful ball in for was it Højlund? And he didn't finish it. But this is what this kid can do. And for whatever reason, Ten Hag just didn't let him play. But Amorim, I'm begging. I'm pleading with you, my brother. Ruben, play this kid. Play him.
I think Ahmad in the system under Amorim could be special because it is that sort of starts in the 10 and drifts outside. And I think that could suit him really, really well. And he's someone that could be amazing for us. He can beat a man, he can cross, he can pass. He also can use both feet. So he can do what he can go cut in and use that left foot, but he can go on the outside and cross a ball as well. And I think that, if he's given enough sort of time to develop, if he's given enough time to really get his confidence up at Man United, he could be a special player for us. He's got it. The second goal he scored was amazing. But actually, the more I reflect on it, the first goal actually impresses me more. That type of header is so hard to score from. It was so delicate and so well placed. It was excellent to see. So yeah, I'm really made up for the young man. I hope he signs a new deal. And listen, he's got one more game under Ruud, an international break, and then one of the best coaches in Europe right now is going to be getting hold of him. So yeah, very, very excited indeed to see how he performs.
That we've got to be worried about is obviously him coming off and he's not injured. Someone said he's injured again. I'm not too sure. We haven't had any confirmation of that. So hopefully he's not injured. But I just want to speak quickly before we move on that. So, like you said, the first goal was amazing. That second goal, none of our attackers are attacking the fullback like that. Maybe Højlund, if he's in that position, would be fighting for that ball. But Ahmad showed the resilience, showed the determination to win that ball, win it cleanly, and you go on and finish a shot like that. Like he's just, for me, he's just state the claim, and that mentality, that work ethic that he's got, that needs to be across the entire board of our attackers moving forward. We'll definitely score more goals if they had that kind of hunger. But yeah, man, Ahmad, my son, I'm happy for him.
DR's with us right now. DR, I assume you watched the Chelsea game tonight. How impressed were you with the young lads?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on the terrace. I'm really pleased with the way Maresca's managing our team. We had, I think, George, right wing, academy graduate came on, and we had we subbed on another kid. It's just really good to see. Obviously, we've got our own troubles with some youth players not getting minutes, like defenders. I think Josh Achempong and agents, so they're fighting there for minutes. But the way he's managing this club, the whole squad, is exactly what I needed, especially from previous managers prior. I know it was all messy, but that's what you needed to do. Just be a bit cutthroat. This is the A team. This is the B team. We're attacking well. We've got a structure. We've got 2 wingers on both sides. So Madueke is obviously our A string. And then we got B string wingers that can come in. And the strikers as well. That's what Nkuku, Giyu, and what's his name? Jackson. So we've got 3 strikers that are playing for us. And it's just the way Maresca's managing it is good to see. I like how we build up.
Can I ask you a question about the A and the B team? Which of the B team players do you think is knocking hardest on the door to get into the A team?
For me, the one B team player that's really knocking on the door has got to be Nkuku. But my only issue with Nkuku, and I think Chelsea fans are beginning to realize this, is that he does not stretch the pitch like a Jackson. The numbers that you're going to see on Nkuku's side will always be flattering, but look at what he's playing against. He's playing against, with respect, like lower level teams in the Conference League. And the threat of injury is a bit, for me, scary. Another one that I really think should have more of a look in is definitely, I can't believe I'm saying this, is Mudryk. Like every single time he's playing, like he's surprising me. Like he's doing things. He's learning. Like he's beginning to learn how to play football. Like I remember when we first signed him, and it just felt a bit academy boy. Like he just felt green, but he's beginning to learn how to like calm down, cut in, take crosses. I think the bigger thing is crosses. I always knew he could like play make, but his crossing has improved slightly. And think about it. Madueke is beginning to slip a little bit, and Neto doesn't play on the left anymore. Sancho is in injury kind of spell right now. So you kind of have to go with the Mudryk.
I did hear a rumor about Sancho, actually.
I've heard
about Sancho. Sancho's injury and illness coincides with the new release of Call of Duty. I don't know if there's any correlation in that. So I saw a tweet about it the other day. It made me laugh. It's not that, obviously.
That's the same with Luke Shaw, man. Luke Shaw's in remission.
People are doing up mad conspiracies about Sancho. But, listen, I agree. I was really impressed with Mykhailo Mudryk tonight. And look, I actually think you need to give him another chance in the first team, because I think you need to test whether or not he's ever going to be good enough. Does that make sense? It's almost like your confidence is there now. There's a start or two in the first team. Show us that you're Chelsea level, or you cash in on him, if that makes sense. Because I think that as much as you've got 2 teams, eventually 2 teams are going to become, because again, you can have 2 teams when you're in the Conference League. If you make it back into the Champions League next season, you need 1 big team, if that makes sense, because you're not going to be able to rotate 10 to 11 players for your European night. So I do agree. I think he looks good. I think he just needs to be given, I'm not saying do it against Arsenal this weekend, but at some point, I think he's got to be given a fair run of games back in the first team again to see whether or not he's of that level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. And a player that I'm going to say, which is going to annoy a lot of Chelsea fans, but a player that I'm beginning to really lose. He played well, but I'm losing some faith in him is Enzo Fernandez, man. If we can sell him in due future, I'm for it. I'm just looking at him playing well today, and I'm thinking, why can't you do this for us in that A team? And it's like, I don't know, but
maybe just accept it. He ain't A team material.
Maybe that's what I'm personally. I'm very I'm very prepared to like cut our losses. Like net profit will not be good, but if
Inter will take him. You pay the wages. We did that for Man United with Alexis Sanchez, and then you just take him.
I really
we did it for
look at this poor man. Look at this little pauper here chatting to us Premier League teams. You little pauper. Do one, bro.
We did it for Alexis Sanchez, and it's okay, bro. I'm being serious.
Actually, to be fair,
actually, I'm not just chatting out of my head. Barcelona and Inter Milan asked Chelsea for the possibility to loan Enzo Fernandez in January.
I hear you, mate. I hear you.
Enzo ain't going nowhere.
It is what it is. Are you still defending? Are you still defending Enzo Fernandez, bro? Are you just coming?
We're talking about his two favorite players right now, Mudryk and Enzo.
Is he serious?
He's ready.
Okay. Are you still defending Enzo Fernandez, Don?
What do you mean he's still defending? He's not in my best 11, so I don't know what we're doing here.
Okay, so I'm taking him on loan. You pay 75% of wages.
I still want him in my squad. Like today, he played well today.
Really? You would rather have him in your squad
if he's done 18? But anyway, this ain't a conversation.
You're being stubborn, bro. You're being stubborn. You don't want to be wrong. You know what? You're wrong and strong now, Don. You're wrong. You don't want to admit that. Okay, you got it wrong. Enzo's not your Chelsea material. You got to admit it, bro. Just admit it. Just come on a show once. Admit that I was wrong about Enzo Fernandez. He's not the star I thought he would be. I just admit it, bro. Once, bro.
He's not in my best 11. I don't know what we're doing here.
Bro, he's not good enough for your team. It's okay. Your team aspires to play. Okay, forget the 11. Your team is aiming to play. Okay, just listen. Your team next season is aiming to be Champions Leagues. There's not going to be Conference League. It's not going to be F9 and Noah's, bro. There's going to be Champions League football and aiming to win the Cups and Premier League. Enzo is not going to be good enough to play either in the Champions League or the Premier League. Am I wrong?
That's a fact. I'm wrong. We shall see. The story's going to be
bro, he's still saying we shall see.
Speaking about Enzo Fernandez.
I'll tell you why we're speaking Enzo. A Chelsea fan on the show, DR, brought it up, and we didn't.
Thank you so much.
Just want to point that out. A Chelsea fan brought it up, not us.
It's becoming a tired conversation.
Can I just say, I don't hate him. I don't think he's terrible. I don't think he's a horrible player. He's just for the fit for our team, the way we want to move forward. He's a bit too slow for it. He's very, very good. Let me tell you now. Listen, if you want Enzo Fernandez and you want to buy him 80 million, 60 million, come on, let's go. But he's a very good player.
That's a big drop. That's a big drop.
He's a very good player.
You can have him.
But I think DR's onto something, though. The thing is, as I say, you guys have got an A and a B team right now, and you can rotate. Next season, that ain't possible. Especially if you're in the Champions League, you are going to be playing your A team twice a week. I think there's a number of your kind of B team players that will have to be moved on, not because they're too bad, but even if they're all good enough, you can't. It's so hard to keep a squad like that together and keep everybody happy. He's able to do it this season, and listen, I think Man United ended up doing you a favor by putting you in the Conference League because it enables you to do this and it enables people to build their confidence. But next season, I think you'll be a Champions League team, and therefore, some of these players are going to have to be moved on because they're just going to forget whether they're good enough or not. They just won't be happy barely starting games. Do you know what I mean? And you won't be able to keep them on the in case we get 10 injuries to the squad, because that's not likely to happen. But Don, listen, it was an 8-0 victory tonight. You guys did look great. What did you make of the performance?
Bro, it was a very professional performance. Mentality today, everyone was locked in. And that's what I've been asking for against obviously we didn't play a big team today, but end of the day, start of this Conference League, Terry, these lot weren't really taking it seriously, bro. You know what I mean? They were still trying to learn the system, and they were taking it a little bit easy, thinking, yeah, we're just gonna beat these lot because of Chelsea. Today we did our job. You know what I mean? I was very happy to see Mark Gill start today. I don't think we haven't really seen much of him, obviously, because he just hasn't been getting played. It was nice to see Nkuku in his natural position, Conference League or not. When he gets on the ball in that central area, you can clearly see he's more comfortable there, bro. You know, I know he scored a lot of goals in the Conference League this year, but if you actually look at his performances up top in the Conference League, they haven't really been great. You know, the hat-trick he scored that time, you know, his finishing's been good, but the overall game just ain't it, because for me, he's not a striker. And Maresca's already said it this week as well, that he's not a striker. So it was good today to see him, you know, behind the striker. João Felix today, I thought was amazing. I thought he had a very good game. Took his finishes quite well after missing an absolute blunder quite early on in the game. Tyreek George, I thought, you know, had a good game. He created some good chances as well. Mudryk, listen, I've been telling you, look, this guy's improving. About time he executed that fucking finish quite well. You know what I mean, KJ? Yeah. Don't do that palm thing, bro, because Mudryk is improving. Yeah, in the Prem, he's been doing this off the bench as well. It's actually been effective for us. You know what I'm saying? So
and I ask a question, Don. Do you see what you said a year ago about Mudryk having more to his game than Martinelli? For real. For real,
I told
bro.
you that ages ago. I told you this ages ago.
So you're still doubling down on it after Mudryk being improved.
Are you telling me that he hasn't got more to his game than Martinelli?
I'm just asking you, bro, because you're the one.
No, that's not the conversation.
Why are you even bringing that back? Because it's very clear. It's very clear.
I'm going to tell you why I bring it back. You asked me why I bring it back. Sorry, KJ. Because really he's improving.
Yeah,
I have to sit here and say Mudryk is improving.
Yeah.
He's actually being a useful football player at Chelsea Football Club in the Premier League and the Conference League. I know people, oh yeah, you said he doesn't have football abilities, but he's improving. Apparently, Maresca is utilizing what he has. He's not asking him for wonders. Yeah. He's asking him to play basic things. Don't try the tough things. And I have to give credit to Maresca, to be honest. When you have a player like this who lacks sometimes football IQ and just asking him to do the basic things, I have to give it credit to the coach. Sometimes coaches ask too many things of football players they're not able to do, and they look horrible. Maybe that was what is happening, to be honest. We have to. He is improving, and I know that people hate to admit that he got it wrong with something. He's actually looking at him. He's improving. He's being utilized,
and that's good for Mudryk, and I'm happy for him, my fellow Christian brother, and that. So that I'm happy for him. But the real question is,
what?
He's a Christian guy. He's a Christian guy, man. I've got to support my team. Anyway, but the real question is, Don, is he good enough to dispel any of your wingers in this Chelsea team?
I mean, there's no one on the left really that's kind of held down their position. Like Sancho for me is a very good player. Is an important player to have in the squad, but I wouldn't start Sancho against every single team. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. Neto for me is better on the right. Like I've told you lot before, Mudryk isn't a guaranteed starter as of yet. I like him, but it's
even as the best one-on-one winger in the league.
He's one of the best, yeah, because he is. Yeah,
the one-in-one demon.
Come on. Are you telling me that Mudryk is not one of the best at taking on his man in the league, bro?
No,
what did you do at Old Trafford, man?
I want to hear about Mudryk.
Yeah, I know he had a shit game at Old Trafford, but that doesn't mean that we haven't seen games of him doing it. Anyway, let me answer KJ's question. Bro, if he keeps improving, right, and he starts games in the Prem, he's creating for us, which he usually does. Like his crossing is very good. Yeah, and what he likes to do as well is do a lot of cutbacks. And even against you guys, he cut back I think once or twice. Jackson's just not there because he hasn't really got the box movement. You know what I'm saying? But bro, if he keeps improving, putting up numbers there when he plays and that, he'll start games, bro.
None of this. You have a choice of your wingers. You need a solid week in, week out left wing. Is it Mudryk? Are you starting him already?
Oh, it could be, bro. It could be him.
No, on a pecking order right now, you list it from like 1 to 5. Your best left-sided wingers.
Let me ask. Sorry, bro. I didn't catch your name, bro. Yeah, what? Adamant as if Mudryk's not improving. I don't get this.
Now you're gonna answer my question first, please. List it for us.
Because he keeps saying no, as if Mudryk's been shit. Like Mudryk's actually been good for us.
We'll come to Elijah in a minute, but where do you rank him in the pecking order, D?
Bro, listen, for me, I'd rather start Neto on the right, innit? You know what I'm saying? Sancho's obviously better than Mudryk, but like I said, it all depends on who you're playing, bro. It all depends on who you're playing. When we previewed the game against Liverpool, for me, looking at it in hindsight, I would have started someone like a Mudryk on that side, bro. Someone a little bit more direct. Yeah, someone that's a little bit more direct. You know what I'm saying? I don't get why you keep shaking your head, bro. What am I saying? That's crazy right now.
I can rank our wingers if you want me to do that.
By the way, Don, check your phone for me. By the way, bruv, I sent you a message earlier. I need you to check it for me. But yeah. Sorry. Over to Elijah. Go on, mate.
Sorry, Don. You're wrong about Mudryk. Like, don't get me wrong. He is improving, but he hasn't been starting games in the Premier League. Like, you have to realize that, because if you think that Mudryk is going to have a great game, then that means that Mudryk should be starting the game against Arsenal. Now, I do think he will do, because Jadon Sancho, I'm not sure what's going on with him, but I think Jadon Sancho has done better than Mudryk, because the only game he had a bad game was against Liverpool. Other than that, before that, he was cooking. I haven't seen Mudryk in the Premier League this season You know, it's only the Conference League we have seen him, and that's the only game he's improved. But in the Premier League, I don't think he's it. So sorry,
I can give you the examples, bro. He came on against Palace. He did more off the bench against Palace than Neto did the whole game. He came on against Forest, created a very good chance for Nkuku that Nkuku missed. Yeah, when he tried to head it. Against Palace, he created a very good chance for Jackson off the bench. And like I said, when he came on, he was looking threatening. In the Conference League, he's been playing very well. The last game in the Conference League before this one, he was basically man of the match. He's been improving, bro. So for me, like I've said, Elijah, we have a very good squad. Yeah, I'm not saying Sancho should hold bench every single week. Certain games you start Sancho. Certain games you might want to start Mudryk. But in order for him to start, Elijah, he has to keep improving. You know what I'm saying? He has to keep improving. If he's coming on and he's not doing much, he's not going to get trusted by Maresca, right? The more he improves, the more Maresca's going to trust him. That's all I'm saying to you, bro. But I get what you're saying. Yes, Sancho is a better player, 100%. But him and Mudryk are different type of profiles, bro. Mudryk is more direct and Sancho is more, 1-2, keep the ball, retain the ball, that sort of thing. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
True. Yeah. I don't get me wrong. Like, if Mudryk can do what he did in the game against Arsenal, if he can do this consistently, then I'll hold my hands up and apologize. But for me, so far this season in Premier League, not been that great. But I want him to really see the Mudryk that we saw before we signed him when he was at Ukraine for Shakhtar Donetsk, if you know what I mean.
Don't worry, Maresca will get him there. Don't worry, Maresca will get him.
I'm sorry, I think Elijah's onto something here, though. I get he's improving. I've already said that on the show tonight as well. But I think the question really is this. Chelsea's standards are sky high in terms of where you've got to get to. And what I mean by that is you've got to create a team that's good enough to beat this Arsenal team, this Liverpool team, this City team to titles, this Real Madrid team, this Barcelona team, this Bayern Munich team, plus those English teams to Champions Leagues. Mike, the jury's still out whether he's good enough to do that. And if he isn't good enough to do that, then he isn't a starter for Chelsea in terms of the same. By the way, same as a lot of the Man United players. Until we've got players across multiple positions that are good enough to be part of a team that can win us those trophies, I feel like they're not quite what I would call Man United quality. They're not quite Chelsea quality, and I think that the jury's out on that.
One thing I'll say, Terry, when we get a striker, you're gonna see Mudryk. Yeah, obviously right now Jackson's improving, yes, but Jackson in the box can still improve more. You know what I'm saying? The movement in the box is still not A1. Yeah. Outside of the box, he's got very good movement, but in the box, the likes of Osimhen are better. The likes of Gokeres are better. Even Omarodian is better in the box. As much as I didn't want Omarodian, I did say in the box is good. Yeah, away from the all-round game. Away from the all-round game, Omarodian's box presence is very good.
Oh, I tell you what, striker looked good tonight in Europe. Osimhen. I know he had some chances saved by. I don't really think he missed the chances, barring the header. The rest of them were saved. That boy's movement in the box is
crazy,
deadly, bro,
and crazy. And that's what I'm saying. When Mudryk starts to play with an actual striker like an Osimhen, you'll see him start to get a lot more assists. Because every game I see this guy put in some dangerous whips, left foot, right foot, bro. Yeah, he's got a very good cross on him. You know what I'm saying? So, boy, he's just got to keep going, man. He's just got to keep going.
But I wouldn't swap your wingers for Ahmad. I'd keep Ahmad.
Ahmad was good today. But again, he's a different profile to Mudryk. He's a different profile to Mudryk.
No, I get that. No, he was very, very good indeed. Mo, what game are you watching tonight?
Man United, to be honest. I'm not going to watch anything else, Chelsea, bro.
I've got to shoot anyway.
Bro, I turned it up after freaking 4 goals.
Great.
Terry, I'll see you tomorrow. Love,
bro.
You all want me to sit and watch 4 goals Chelsea after like 15, 20 minutes?
When it got to 4-0, I kept the Chelsea game on, but I muted the screen. I couldn't listen to it anymore. I was like, it's done, isn't it? It's done.
No, you should have been watching the Lazio Porto game.
What happened in that? I haven't even seen the score. What happened?
I didn't.
Lazio, baby. Pedro Rodriguez, 92nd minute winner.
Oh, nice. He's Nuno Tavares. Good for you, man.
Nuno Tavares has been one of the best left backs in Europe.
Wow.
I'm deadly serious. He's already got like 8 or 9 assists in Serie A. Tonight, he was very good. Defensively, he's not the best, but most fullbacks nowadays, you don't need to be at that elite level defensively, but he's been outstanding. He's been very good. And Pedro Rodriguez as well, bro, for Lazio.
So I just saw your comment. Strategy. Terry been smirking the whole stream because they've been a good. I'm not going to lie. I've had a few sherbets. My team won.
Right.
I'm just in a good mood.
The way that
Is
Terry
it-
was talking about the Raiders in the last arc, I knew he was drunk. I was like, what
Yeah,
are
I
you
know.
talking about?
I'm just in a good mood. I'm enjoying the chat. I've actually got people messaging me saying this is one of our members, right? I'm not going to out him in case he doesn't want his name being mentioned online. But he says, "You make me fucking sick, Terry. Why are you so happy?" And I've been reading it and I'm just laughing. I'm like, I'm in a good mood. Man United won. We didn't play particularly well in the first half. Better in the second. We won the game. That's all I care about right now. So
Yo,
all I
you
care
guys
about is
needed
winning these
halftime.
games.
You guys needed halftime. PAOK in that last 15 or 10 minutes of the first half, they had some serious momentum.
To be
there.
fair, the whole game I was a bit stressed because that chance that they had where Tyson whipped put that beautiful ball into the box.
Yeah, do you know what? For me, like again, I always rewatch Man United games because I find it. I can assess them in the real time, but I'm so emotional every time. I do feel like European nights have become a real psychological problem for us, and I think when you watch European football, it sounds different, it looks different. I don't know, it might even smell different. I have no idea. But it's almost like the European night started and you could see it was weighing them down. They know how bad their record has been. And I think
knew that as well.
Yeah, they certainly did. And I think that's, look, Old Trafford, we still win most of our games there, but Old Trafford used to be a fortress, but we've lost that. Teams all fancy themselves when they come because of the volume of games we've drawn and lost there. These are the things that the new head coach has got to come in and make better. It's about building up your confidence in those moments. And that's why so regularly when we go a goal down, we found it so hard to come back because there's no confidence seeping through these players. We have superior players compared to PAOK in every way, shape, and form. We just do. They've got one of our academy players that couldn't make it, not just at our club, but couldn't make it in England. And he's on their bench, right? But you could just see the weight of expectation, the pressure, the recent form. And when we went 1-0 up, we pushed for 5 minutes and then you see us sit deep. That's because we've scored 8 times in our last 10 European games first and not won any of them. So I can totally understand why psychologically these players are damaged. And that's why I'm so happy with Ruud, because I think Ruud has helped, and hopefully he does it on Sunday, win that final game under him. And it just gives these players a little bit of confidence when Ruben comes in, because you can just tell confidence is shattered in these players. I'm not defending them. And I have a lot of people say they threw the manager under the bus. I don't necessarily believe that. But we needed that win tonight. And that's why the win for me is probably more important than anything else, because the winning is what's going to breed the confidence into these players, not just a system and a style of play. And yeah, Ruud's done a great job. Really, really happy with him. And I think he will win at the weekend as well. And, then he walks away with a nice little win percentage. He's done his club proud. He's a legend of our football club already. And just, I can't wait to say thank you and not goodbye. Maybe he'll stay as a coach, but I'm very grateful for what Ruud's done. Really grateful.
Do you think he could get an EPL job if, say, Leicester City sacks Steve Cooper? Because Steve Cooper's rubbish.
Yeah, well,
do you think he's gonna, or do you think he's more viable of like championship teams will be willing to?
We will see. I think this stint has helped him, and people. I remember having a conversation with Staffy saying he was disappointed because he was hoping to see a bit more of what Ruud can do, getting them playing.
Yeah, a bit more invention or creativity.
Yeah, but I'm like, at the end of the day, he's here to steady a ship, not rebuild it. You know what I mean? So he's done his job, in my opinion. And if you get, like Terry said, get your win. That's 3 wins from 4 and 1 draw. You haven't lost whatever percentage win record you have. Yeah, I will take that. And I think clubs will look at that and be like, he's taking in a situation at Man United where things are looking bad. He steadied it, plus his stint at PSV. I think clubs will be looking, but who knows? Who knows what happens?
Do you know what's really interesting? I don't know if anyone on the panel knows. Comments, the live chat, I want to hear from you as well. We all use the word interim manager now. When I was growing up, we had a different word for managers in this situation. Did anybody remember what it was?
What, caretaker?
Yeah, caretaker.
Oh,
manager.
yeah.
Personally, do you know what was really crazy? When I was really young and I heard this, I genuinely thought the caretaker took over as manager. I never understood it. I was like, why did the person that sweep the pavement take over? Because we had caretakers at our school, caretaker manager. I literally thought, why would you have the caretaker? Can't no one else do it? But the thing is, what I find interesting is that no one ever used to judge a caretaker manager. The way you played football, good, bad, or indifferent, they were never judged. That's why I'm trying to revert back to how football always was. No one ever judged the caretaker manager. No one ever judged an interim manager ever. So that's why, for me, because we've got Amorim coming in, I think his job was purely get the players' levels up, work on a strong structure that's hard to break down, get the wins on the board, and thank you. There's no point in trying to run drills and I want to implement this and implement that. When somebody else new's coming in a few weeks, who's going to have completely different drills, a completely different approach in training. It's ridiculous to start filling the player's mind with something new to do something new again in 4 weeks' time. So he's doing the right thing. You know, we're getting some wins. You know, hopefully we can score a few more goals at the weekend and go into the international break with an air of positivity around us. And you know, for Ruben to come in. And as I said, when we sacked Ten Hag, the season is still very salvageable. We can still get European football in the league. And there's 3 competitions we can win. And these players with the right structure, I know they're capable of winning. Why? They won 2 trophies in the last 2 years. So they're definitely capable of winning. They're definitely capable of winning trophies. So yeah, look, as a United fan right now, I feel optimistic. I feel excited. I'm actually in a good mood when it comes to my football club for once, which is really nice. Elijah, what game were you watching, bro?
I was watching my game, of course.
The Chelsea game, right?
Chelsea, yes.
Yeah.
And what did you make of your boys tonight?
Listen, it was a really good performance. The only thing I was disappointed, Terry, is that it could have been more than 8 goals because Felix missed a sitter and Nkunku could have scored 4 goals. You know, Cardi Chukwuemeka could have scored. But listen, we got the job done, and that's all that matters. Listen, I'm happy. I'm not going to celebrate. I'm not going to gaslight because it's FC Noah. And I have to give them credit as well because they defended well. Of course, not in the first half, but in the second half, they had some chances as well. They just couldn't manage to let Chelsea score more than 8 goals. So I give credit to Noah, you know. But listen, I just hope that these players can give the Commodores going into the Arsenal game because that's a big game for us, you know, in the London derby. And it's a must-win game for Chelsea because if we drop points, then we can go from 4th to 9th, depending on the other fixtures as well. But listen, good performance, 3 points. You know, we have to win this competition, otherwise it's a disgrace. But happy days for me, man, as a Chelsea fan tonight.
100%. I know you wrote in the comments earlier, did I say something wrong? No, we just like it when you rattle Don. I like seeing Don rattled. It makes me laugh.
Yes.
And you rattled him, and you rattled him good, bruv. You rattled him good. So never apologize for rattling Don Lusional. It's what we like on the Football Terrace, my man. So thank you very much for doing that. Nav here says we've got Esteval Willian coming. I think he'll take Maddie's. Who's Maddie? Madueke's place if he doesn't put up numbers. But then I can see him benched for Willian. I'm so curious, if anything. I mean, I don't know enough about this young man. I've read good things about him, but I don't know too much.
He is very, very good. But Chelsea fans also said this about the other Brazilian winger. What's his name? I should remember.
Kennedy.
What?
Kennedy. Nathan.
That's a real throwback. Damn. I remember.
Lucas Payas on
loan.
Who asked that?
Blaze actually asked a question here to Don, but he's gone now. Don, would you rather Enzo or Rice? I'll throw that to DR. If you could swap Enzo for Declan Rice right now, would you do it?
Yes.
I don't think you should think about it.
Come on, man.
Honestly,
come on.
Honestly, like, yeah, I would definitely take Rice over Enzo, but it's kind of close. It is kind of close.
What?
I would definitely take Rice over Enzo because Rice has not been that. To me, Rice has not been that spectacular.
But he hadn't been in.
It's only this season, man. Last season he was great. Enzo
but Rice is still Rice is still better than him. But yeah, he's not been that spectacular for me. But I would take that swap.
You know what? I'm just sitting there laughing, just imagining Don pulling his hair out right now, listening to it.
Yeah.
Mudryk is playing to the level he is. Felix is playing. Is the player knocking on the door. Nkunku and Enzo are still looking lost in the Conference League.
Felix is not knocking on no door. I'm sorry.
No,
he will never be a Chelsea starter. Will never be a Chelsea starter. He is not good enough. He is a positionless footballer. This guy, look, he's got good ability, he's got good this, good that, but he doesn't ever like take a game out of the scruff of the neck.
Yes, Steve. Yes,
Steve.
Steve. People try to cook me
years, and he's never made himself undroppable.
Yes, Steve. People try to cook me when I said this guy's overrated.
I like
KJ,
no.
I'm with you on that. I like the player.
I don't listen. This is how you know he's overrated. Don't try to brag about after bench goals in a loss. That's how man was trying to give him prop for this flipping Felix brother. Talented guy, really talented. But I'm sorry, he ain't what everyone thinks he is.
It's about how you apply your talent, and he doesn't enough.
This here says Enzo in a 3-5-2 in Hakan's regista position would cook so hard he would have 3 CBs behind him, 2 CMs and wing backs. It'll make him his defense. It'll make up for his defensive work.
Oh yeah, Mo, go for it. You're in.
It can't work. It can't work. He's gonna be on the. It can't work because you need to work hard in a 3-5-2. You need to work much harder. It won't work. Because you have 2 strikers that are ahead of you. You have 2 wing backs that go all the way. So basically, you have 4 players going forward along with the 2 midfielders. As a DM, on the ball, it might work. Off the ball, no, it's absolutely. He's too slow to play that system. He'll need to be one of the other midfielders.
Çalhanoğlu is way harder.
And also, Çalhanoğlu works. Yeah, exactly. He works so hard.
Player. I love him.
Yeah, he's
Nav here says I'd loan him to Barca. He's got to think quick on his feet. Why not? He needs to be a faster player in reaction.
He doesn't start for Barcelona.
No.
No.
What the F did Mings do to get distracted? Did he get distracted by his dreads? I don't know. He got distracted by his dreads, but if I was the owner, rip up the contract, mate. Get out. See you later. Gabriel Magalhaes did that last season, but they didn't punish him.
I think it's an honest mistake. Like,
I don't think it should be I don't think it should be a penalty. And do you know why? Right? They should rewrite the laws for it because you're gaining. It's not like the goalie passed the ball to him and it was overhit and he was going to run to a fullback and he used his hand. Whether he handballs it or not, it didn't change the course of it. I think it's one of those weird rules where officially it's a penalty, but in reality, when you consider the handball the other night that Sporting didn't get, when the City player's hand was low to the ground, that's more of a handball. And the 2 penalties Man United didn't get tonight. I mean, they're more penalties than that handball. And the first one Man United didn't get tonight.
Diallo should have a penalty, right?
Yeah, Diallo should have had. But Garnacho's one. The commentators went, no, he kicked the defender's foot. So a defender can put his foot in for the ball and miss it. And then because my striker's foot, who's trying to kick the ball, kicks him, it's a foul. No, that defender can't put his leg in front of you unless he touches the ball. They're both more penalties than that. Yeah, Ming's thing was crazy. Laddie, by the way, he put this in a long time ago, but he said, dude, Chelsea won 8-0 and you start with 2-0 United. I started the show by talking about Chelsea. So, Laddie,
at the time, there was no Chelsea fans here.
And we were waiting for them to arrive, Laddie. So that's why, bro. By the way, where you been, Laddie? Why haven't you called in for a while? Why haven't you called in for about 2 years? Laddie, my old mate. He used to call in with the webcam that was a little bit like, what's that thing called where the camera bends a bit? Fishbowl. Yeah, I like his. Anthony here says, always here. Timing is mad because I'm in Australia. Just watch on playback most of the time. These days are good because the game starts at 7 in the morning. Big up yourself, my friend. Mo, Enzo would instead replace Mkhitaryan.
I don't think people understand how slow Enzo is, and not only with his feet, with decision making. That's why he doesn't. Yeah. Enzo Fernandez was protected by this Messi in the World Cup. The reason why, because teams, when you play with Messi, you have an extra man. So they have more space, you have more time, because people account for Messi more than anyone else. And he's getting exposed. He needs to think quicker, and his football IQ is not there in terms of like, he needs to know his next move, his next pass. And it shows in the Premier League when there's so much physicality and people are not giving you the half yard that you're getting with Argentina because you have Messi. It's just different, to be honest with you. Like Enzo Fernandez, I think it's the most expensive signing that is not worth it in the history of the Premier League. When Pogba was bought, he was worth it. When Lukaku was bought from Inter, he scored 30 plus goals. It works or not work, that's different. When he was bought from Benfica, he had half a season that is good with Benfica. There was no history behind it to justify that much money, and it shows now. The fact that Lukaku didn't work or Pogba didn't work for whatever reason, but at that time, they were worth the money. That is the thing that people don't understand. When you buy someone and it doesn't work for you, it was worth the money. Enzo Fernandez was not worth the money. They had
Do you know
to
what it reminds
double
me of?
pay.
It's a lot more money, but it reminds me of when Man United in 1996 bought Karol Poborski, who had a really good
Czech
Euro
Republic 96, yeah.
He had a really good
Where'd
96.
you buy him from? What club?
I don't remember what club it was. I was only 10 or 11. I don't quite remember what club we bought him from. Actually, I'm going to check now. But again, it wasn't just the Euros. There was a lot of hype.
I remember Glenn Hoddle saying he doesn't like when managers buy players during an international tournament because it's just not.
Listen, we got absolutely frauded for Cleberson. I don't remember how much.
Cleberson. I remember Cleberson. Oh my word. Yeah, but the thing is, to pay that much money when at the same time Caicedo was like 6 months you wait for a Caicedo. There was a Lavia out there, and to pay that much money for Benfica at that time was like, you really overpaid by a lot of by double the price. You're not getting this money back whatsoever at all.
No.
At all. And that is the problem with Enzo Fernandez. And the problem is we are judging him as 100 million, where we should be judging him as a 40, 35 million pound player. That is his actual worth.
Yeah, we bought him from Interestingly, we bought him from Slavia Prague, right? But he'd only been at Slavia Prague one season. Yeah. And then he had a great Euros. There was a lot. I remember being a kid, and I remember my dad talking about him when Czech was on TV. Going, this young lad, a lot of hype about him. He had a really good Euros, and then Man United bought him. Obviously, we didn't buy him we bought him for 3.5 million. Having said that, though, when you look at the inflation of football since then, which is about 500% or so from that point. I mean, I don't know what that actually equates to now, but if you bought him for 3.5 million now, times that by 500%.
18 mil.
Yeah, yes, there wouldn't be a lot. There still isn't a huge amount of money, but it might have been grown even more since the mid-90s. But it's similar where you look at him at one good season in a top, the Czech league was good back then. People got to remember how good like the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakian football was in the 90s back. It was ridiculously good. But he came to Man United. He couldn't handle English football. But, went on and, I think he did well at Benfica and maybe Lazio. I think he played for a lot of good teams. Playing for Lazio in the late 90s, early noughties was an absolute...
Varane, Inzaghi, the center...
Any chance we can just switch a little bit to Bruno Fernandes? I was having a conversation. Is that right, guys? Or there's still more Chelsea super chats? Bruno Fernandes today. One of the things I was talking to Cam about this is that this guy, Bruno Fernandes, he has a lot in his locker. You can tell. The problem is he needs to be kept in check. He needs to have bigger players around him or a coach that has a bigger personality than him to tell him that it's not okay to piss the ball away. It's not okay to do these things. He will try things. And today you can tell the work ethics, some of the passes he makes, which is something that he did when he joined Man United in the beginning, when he wasn't the captain of Man United. Remember all the numbers and the way he used to play. That is what Amorim needs to work on. He needs to have the bigger personality than any football player at this club. Bruno Fernandes is not bigger than Amorim, is not bigger than anybody else. That is how you get the best out of Bruno Fernandes, is that when he plays with Portugal, and there is Ronaldo there's Pepe at the back, there are players that have been there before him to keep him in check, he performs better. It's not because the players around him are better than Man. Don't tell me that the Portuguese team are all better than the Man United teammates that he had. That's not true. The facts are, when he plays for Portugal, there is someone bigger than him at the club. So he needs to do what's required from him and not try something else, not try something out of the box. You can try it every now and then, but you can't get away with it when you play with Ronaldo. You can't get away with it. And that is what Amorim needs to do. Keep this guy in check because you can use him. He's a serviceable player, right? But he cannot be pissing the ball away and doing the stuff that he does in the Premier League more often. I think that is very fair from today. Like today, he played for the team. He wanted to show his worth today. And you can tell He wanted every decision to be correct. He wanted every decision to be right.
I hear
today.
you. Look, I don't think you're wrong, but I think that's the same for a lot of football players. In the sense of, I think you need a manager that keeps you in check. I think you need. Man United we've been rudderless for so long. I'm not surprised that players lose their way. I think it's natural and normal for that to happen. And I think that there's a reason that, look, Man United put Bruno up for sale today. A lot of clubs around Europe would want him straight away. There's a player in there. We know there is. And again, the last 2 or 3 games, the amount of flicks around the corner, first time balls, like the amount of creativity from this man. When people say, what's he good at with the ball at his feet? That is what he's elite at. Chance creation. And he did it again today, time and time again. And if you build a system where that needs someone who's just in that area, and again, Amarim's formation with the 2 kind of cams that play behind the striker, he could, we don't know yet, we'll wait and see. He could flourish in that environment where that's all we need him to do. We don't need him. And over the course of time, you then bring in more technical football players in and around that team. Someone like Bruno could flourish. He could absolutely flourish.
I'm just worried that, because what I've seen from Amarim's 10s, there's a lot of dribbling and there's a lot of driving with the ball.
Yes.
Bruno has lost his pace. He's lost his pace. Like, I think that's gone. And obviously, we know he's not like, he's got close touch control, but over like a good 10, 15, 20 yards, 30-yard distance, that's not when he's at his best. So I'm just going to be intrigued to see how he adapts to the Amarim system. And if he just puts him in a place where you don't actually have to do a lot of driving with the ball, you can play the 1-2s and stuff like that. But yeah, I think Bruno will be fine. Like in the end of the day, I think it'll be okay.
It's certainly an interesting one. Look, I want to thank everybody that's tuned into the show today. You absolute legends for tuning in. Thank you to the panel. This video is going to transfer you now to Hassam's show. So go and check out Hassam's channel. Go and support them over there. We're back tomorrow with more content, including Straight Facts with Staffy, Lawless, and Don, and the Top 6 show at 6 p.m. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.